Hello students, welcome to this seventh lecture on calculus of variation and mechanics. In this lecture, mainly we are going to discuss the geodesics of a cone, right circular cone. So after discussing this, here are some unsolved problems are given that you can practice. The first is geodesics of a right circular cone here. uh, that this is the right circular cone over here. Right circular means whose one of the axis of the cone is on one of the coordinate axis. So in this case, the axis of the cone is lying along z axis, and suppose this angle, semi-vertical angle, is alpha. Now if we write the coordinates of any point on the surface of this right circular cone in terms of spherical polar coordinates r, phi and theta, where phi is the angle with x-axis and here this theta is angle with uh, z-axis. So in this way, if this is the point P on the surface of this right circular cone, then coordinates are r, phi and theta, and the relation between Cartesian coordinates and spherical polar coordinates can be written like this: x equal to r cos phi sine theta, y equal to r sine phi sine theta, z equal to r cos theta. Okay, because here we want to find the geodesics on the surface of this right circular cone. That means you have to consider here 2 points on the surface of this right circular cone, and the arc length between these 2 points is suppose ds. Then how to calculate this ds? And then the main problem here is to find the geodesics. Geodesic means the curve of minimum length between 2 points on the surface of this right circular cone. So that means this ds is suppose small arc length between 2 points here, and let the theta 1 to theta 2, these are the limits here. Theta 1 is varying, and in this case you can see here this theta is constant. So you can say phi will be varying over here. So basically the limits which should be here phi 1 to phi 2, right? So let us see how to write this problem, proof of this problem. Let vertex of the cone be at origin, its axis be along z axis. Consider 2 points a and b, and be spherical polar coordinates of the 2 points on the cone. Then the arc length can be obtained in this manner. Here theta equal to alpha, the semi-vertical angle for every point P r theta phi on surface of the right circular cone is constant. Now using the chain rule of the differentiation, we can write dx equal to this curly x by curly r dr plus curly x over curly phi d phi. Now you calculate curly x by curly r and curly x over curly phi from here. Curly x over curly r and curly x over curly phi from here. So in this way, from this part you can calculate value of dx. From this part, by using chain rule, you can calculate value of dy and dz similarly from this part, and consequently you are getting values of dx, dy and dz. Dx is this, dy is this, and dz is this, equation 3. So in this case, because theta equal to alpha is constant, so d theta equal to 0. So that means here we will not be having this term, only this part will be remaining over here. And now we find the arc length, that is ds square, and that is given by dx square plus dy square plus dz square. This equation number 4. Now in equation 4 you put value of dx, dy and dz and square them. So the values of dx, dy and dz can be obtained from here. This is dx, dy and dz. When you square this dx square, that means a square plus b square minus 2ab. Similarly, dy square means square of this. That will again using the formula a square plus b square plus 2ab. And similarly here square of this. So consequently, the value of ds square becomes this. This whole part represents the dx square, and the second row, this represents dy square, and the third one is this dz square. Now you see here these two are equal parts, so these will be striked out. This is negative and this is positive. These will be striked out over here, and we are left with this part. And after simplification, after simplification, we get ds equal to dr square plus r square sine square theta d phi square. Now, to connect with this equation, I'm putting here r equal to small r. It is just a matter of notation here. Earlier, I have considered it capital R. You could have considered it small r. So, small r, you put capital R, and theta equal to alpha is already given in the statement. So, we have ds square equal to dr square plus r sine alpha square d phi square. Now, if you divide throughout by d phi square, you get this type of equation. Now here, ds over d phi square equal to dr over d phi square plus r square sine square alpha, and ds over d phi equal to this thing. Now this dr over d phi means derivative of r with respect to phi. You suppose you denote it by r dash. Then equation takes this form, and as I told you earlier, the limits of the integration should be taken from phi1 to phi2 because theta is constant in this case. So variable is phi. Angle phi will vary with the varying the position of the point P. Okay, then this capital F, as I have discussed in earlier case, here we are using it small f. Small f is function of r dash and phi. So if I compare it with usual functional as we have done in earlier problems, capital F, X, Y dash. So here R becomes Y, R dash becomes Y dash, and this is in place of X. So in this manner, the Euler equation accordingly changes to this form. Curly F over curly Y was there. So in place of Y, we are using R. Curly F by curly R minus curly over curly phi, and curly f over curly r dash equal to 0. This is basically total derivative. This is total derivative. This is d over d phi, not partial. This is d over d phi, this thing. Now in this case, in our functional, we can see this is independent of phi, and here this phi is analogous to x. So that means it reduces to our first case in Euler's form. So f minus r dash curly f over curly dash equal to constant. You can compare this with our first case we have already discussed. So this type Euler equation, this Euler equation should take this form. Now you substitute the values of the things appearing over here. The value of small f is this thing, the whole thing is there, r dash is there, then you partially differentiate it with respect to r dash, curly f over curly r dash. The value comes out to be this, equal to constant you consider, that is c. Now you get this thing. Now we further simplify this. We are getting, after simplification, these are the simple calculations, and finally you will get in this form. This is one integral on left hand side, and in right hand side this is another integral, where this c dash is the arbitrary constant and c is the constant we have already considered in Euler equation. Then moving further, this integral equal to phi plus c dash. You are simplifying the things. Now if we put r sine alpha equal to t, this integral reduces to this form, and then definitely this part is can also be simplified. We can have direct formula, however we are getting the solution by certain substitution. We put t equal to c secant u, then dt equal to c secant u tan u du. Substituting over here, then the things will be cancelled out. Sine secant u tan u, secant u tan u will be cancelled out, and the value of this integral comes out to be this. Consequently, the solution appears in this form. Now values of constant can be determined using the fact that curve passes through the points A and B. Hence the curve is r c dash secant phi sin alpha plus c, and another way you can write r equal to this thing. This is an equation of the spiral. Therefore geodesics on a right circular cone is a spiral. So this is about the derivation of the geodesic of a right circular cone. So next we have certain unsolved exercises related to determination of the extremal of certain functionals. So you can try these exercises. Unsolved problems are there, and the usual Euler equations can be utilized over here. Thank you.